aura clearing reading for the game. So I began with my circle, casting my sacred space, and there are some very, very dense energies coming into the room. So feeling very kind of earth, I would say, and pretty intense. And then I had a guide come up pretty immediately, so I haven't even, okay, I gotta talk and feel this energy at the same time. That becomes a little bit challenging occasionally. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is I haven't surrounded us in the light yet. I have obviously the sacred space covering the room, but normally I surround myself and then the person in the light when I get the code name. But in this case, this guide is here, and right away he gave me a name, Omen. He said Omen, like a sign or an omen. He says he is a master guide, and there was something else too. Oh, right, then the game. He kind of, it almost felt like I was going into a little bit of a trance because his energy is very kind of dense, like I said, very intense and very earthed. And then he was showing me this very kind of 3D looking image, like I'm walking through a game that almost looks like a video game kind of. He was showing me and then just saying the game, the game, the game over and over. But I got the sense, or at least I'm kind of figuring he's more meaning Earth overall. So we'll see what he means by that. But now I'm going to go ahead and surround us in the light. So I have 3 crystals here, and these will be what I use for the clearing as well, if there is a clearing. Okay. If there is one, he says. So this is this is such an intense energy. Okay, so this is my, oh, I probably held up the wrong one first. This is the amethyst, okay? Okay, so I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to surround this in this one. Okay, I'm actually going to surround you first. So right away, my amethyst is, it's putting the light around you, but then it's stopping at your head, and not even because of a block, actually. It seems more like it's moving energy in a circle, like it's attempting to activate your crown chakra. But I feel like more. It's attempting to activate it more. And yeah, that is true. If you have a master guide coming in, then there are some basic things that you have acquired or taken care of already. And now the master guide steps in to kind of bring you further along the path. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and surround myself. So I'm just visualizing like energy coming from the amethyst, and then it's kind of the amethyst as well as the guides that are doing it when I visualize it this way, when I use a tool like this, when I use a crystal. He's, you know, or she, it's a being, not a tool, but you know what I mean. Okay, so they have a past life that they want to talk about. Okay, this was an image that they were showing me as I cast the circle. Actually, they were showing me an image of like a doublet. That's how it's coming in now. Earlier, it was looking more like a dress, like a medieval kind of dress, kind of like a lady would wear. So not like a peasant or something, a lady like a lord and lady. And this, they're showing me like a doublet. So there again, somebody with money or somebody with wealth would wear this kind of thing. Okay, so he's not showing me that you were a lord or you were a lady. It's like they're showing me materials too. Another thing that I was seeing when I casted the circle, it looked almost like some kind of mannequin. But for some reason it was in the shape of an animal. It was like it looked almost like an animal mannequin, so I wasn't really understanding that, but it looked like an elk, um, or like a moose, something with very large horns, and but it was wooden. And for some reason it made me think of a mannequin as well. And then I was seeing these clothes. So I don't think it's actually a mannequin because that doesn't make sense. Why would you have a mannequin animal like that? That doesn't really make sense to me. But there are these other kind of wooden mannequins standing around. It's like there are these clothes that are like on display. And he's showing me like a needle and thread. So he's showing me like you make these clothes like a tailor. You are like a tailor, but it feels like you're selling these things to higher class people. I feel like there are others around you as well. There are other types of crafts people around you that are making things that these lords and ladies need, but even that other lower class people would need or would want. So not only higher end people, like some of them are selling food and things like that, but this feels like you're a merchant, like you're part of the merchant class. You're a man, you feel like a man. He's giving me the feeling that you're not married, that you have no interest in getting married. You don't care about those things in that lifetime. At the same time, though, he's showing me a picture where you're older and there are these children around you. So give me a second here because I'm trying to figure out why he's showing me that after giving me that feeling that you're not married, you don't have any children. Okay, he's giving me the feeling this is more Renaissance than medieval. Just by what I was seeing, I'm thinking more medieval, but he's saying more like Renaissance, like the 1700s. Okay, I'm getting the feeling it's like there are kids around. So it's not that you don't like children. Um, it's that you feel like you wouldn't have time or enough of an interest really to have your own child and give it all the attention that it requires. So you just look at it like a big responsibility. And there's this feeling that you have towards some other parents, like a lot of parents don't necessarily give their children all the attention that they need or are concerned enough with their welfare and even things like manners, how they behave and raise them to respect others and again give them all the time that they require, so you feel like that isn't your responsibility, like you're here to do something else. But I get the sense that in this lifetime you are kind of limited in what you are able to go for. So it's like you can be a tailor for sure. But yeah, it's like in this time period, it was almost kind of what you were born into, and you couldn't really stray from it very much, or at least in your case, there's the feeling that you couldn't, and even the feeling that you wouldn't want to. It would have taken a lot of effort to do this. He's saying, like, in this lifetime, you really don't want to put a lot of effort in, but he's also giving me the feeling that that's okay. You just for whatever reason you didn't feel to do that in this lifetime. You know there wasn't really a reason for you to be stressed. Like he's saying that you had struggles, you know, like everybody does, but you didn't want to really put your foot forward and go after something that would require a lot of tenacity and a lot of strength, really. You wanted to go with what came to you simply, with what kind of fell into your lap. So this was easy for you and you went with it. And that's honestly, he's giving me the feeling like that's what most people did uh, in this time period. Like these lords and ladies who are buying these things from you, or I also get the feeling that you are also custom making for them. They were handed this. They were born into that role. I also get the feeling that you wouldn't want that role, even if you could have it. There again, you feel like it's too much responsibility, and you feel like those people are not responsible enough with what they're doing. So most of them, there's kind of this feeling like he measures people. Um, he doesn't measure them by um, like he doesn't measure their worth based on how much they've made or their lot in life, because you're just born into that. Like there's a feeling like God puts you there, but then it's your responsibility to do something with it or not do something with it, to take advantage of it or to use it to the disadvantage of yourself and even others. So it's like this isn't what measures the weight of a person. So there's this feeling your guide is giving me, like a lot of the lower end people in his mind, like gutter rats, should be lords and ladies, and then vice versa, really. So almost like the lot in life should be switched. So he feels like it's just all kind of what comes to you. Like almost by a flip of the coin. Okay, by chance. By chance. There's also a sense that God governs it, or even that that's what you might say. But on the other hand, it's just kind of by chance, and who knows how God governs it anyway. So you're kind of a bit of a philosopher, but you also like to keep things simple and stress-free, and you like to do what you're doing well as you can. So he gives me the feeling you're a good person, or at least you try to be. You try to do what's fair, what's right. That doesn't mean that you don't do things occasionally that aren't right in your mind. But even not so much in your mind, because even then I feel like you justify them in this lifetime. So you try to be just. At times you're not always, your guide is saying, but that's your intention. You intend to be. He's giving me the feeling you created a lot of good karma in this lifetime. He's saying even though this was a simple lifetime, he's saying you didn't push too hard, you let things come to you. This was a good thing. So you didn't go out of your way to force something to happen that you didn't feel was meant to be there, was meant to happen, or you were meant to be in that place. And he's saying that you were right about that for that lifetime. So he's saying that you learn to let go. You learn not to strive. And you learn to do things well, to commit to your task. You didn't have any psychic abilities in that lifetime. Like at all, is the feeling he's giving me. Even though you were kind of a philosopher, I get the feeling that you didn't even really believe in that stuff. Like that was just a lot of, like, like a lot of who. Like a lot of hoo-hosh. I don't know why that word is coming in, hoo-hosh. I would never say that. I don't even know what hoo-hosh is, but for some reason it's coming in that way. Or hooey. I don't know why this word is coming in either. Hooey. Who says hooey? This seems ridiculous to me, but for some reason I want to look this up. So I took out a couple of minutes of the reading, or I'm going to during the editing, where I was just looking up some stuff. As when that was coming in hoo-hosh, I'm thinking, well, first I looked up the other word, hooey. That was the first word that came in. And I just had this feeling like, look up when it originated. So I looked that up, and that was coming up on Google with like 1912 and early 1900s. But this other word, hoo-hash, I was like, this makes no sense. What is hoo-hash? And then he came in with hogwash, and I'm like, oh, okay, hogwash. So I looked up hogwash. When did this word originate? And I think hooey, the first word that he came in with, it was just to bring in the other word that he wanted to tell me, hogwash. Well, when I looked that word up, it came up on Google as being used in the 1700s specifically. And it was saying that it started being used in the early 15th century, but just as a term of like bad food or bad liquid, like food or liquid that's gotten spoiled. So I guess like only the hogs will eat it. It's not something that a human's going to eat. But by later in the 17th century, it said 1773, around there, it started being used as meaning poorly written manuscripts. And that was actually a picture that I saw as well. I saw a picture of like books. That was a very quick flash though, when he was speaking about the psychic stuff. Um, so I almost get the sense these were the types of terms he was using when he was speaking about psychic kinds of information, and even like psychic books, like psychic lore, or he's even giving me the word alchemy, like alchemical kinds of research, those types of manuscripts where alchemists are putting their information into a book, or what have you, sorcerers and stuff like this, he's saying. Um, but there's this sense almost like you would kind of make fun of it. You would make fun of this psychic arena. And this guide is actually I kind of get the feeling like he's laughing now. He's kind of having a laugh now because he was there all around you the whole time uh, during this lifetime, of course. You know, he's your guide, so he's been with you for a little while now. Um, Now he's saying he's not your main guide. He's a master guide. So like I was saying, they come a bit later as you've learned more things. So he hasn't always been with you like some of your more primary guides have been, but he has been with you for at least a few lifetimes. I feel maybe several, maybe like around 6 or so lifetimes I get the feeling of with this guide, so going back a little bit. But still, I still get the feeling from him that that's kind of a short while. So you've had a lot more than only 6 lifetimes. Yeah, exactly. Omen. Why are we focusing on this one? But he's giving me he posed that question to me, so I'm just saying it out loud. He's saying, why are we focusing on this one, this lifetime? That he's talking about. But he's giving me the feeling again, he's kind of having a laugh now because he was there with you that whole time in the lifetime and you were kind of ignoring him and kind of making fun of the fact that spirits even exist. And you may have believed in spirits, like there's a heaven and stuff like that, like you go somewhere when you die, but not like you stay here on earth haunting people and stuff like that. And he just finds this all kind of funny that now you are coming to the conclusion that these things are here, they are around you, and to engage with them. He's saying that you still have this philosophical mindset that you did in that previous lifetime. So you still have that now, and this is something that you have kept for a while. He's saying that you like to examine things. You like to look things over and figure them out, and you like to see how things will evolve and how things will play out. He's saying that you would be, he wants you to start writing your knowledge out and to keep writing it out. He likes it when you take your ideas, these things that have been going on in your head, and even psychic experiences that you've had, he'd like you to write these out, write them down. So take this philosophical stuff you have in your head and write it down. And he's going to be around you when you're doing that. He's going to be assisting you with taking this and putting it out. I'm getting the feeling from him. I don't know if you've ever thought about this before, but I get the feeling from him like you could be an author, or you could get books published, or at least one anyway. I don't feel like that's necessarily a main thing, or it might be one venture, you know, one avenue that you could take. I don't feel like that's the only thing that you are meant to be doing. But he does want you to take these thoughts in your head and to write them out, and that this is a way that you're going to reach people. Okay, water. He wants you to begin cultivating these upper chakras, but he doesn't mean your brain. He means your higher awareness. So yeah, in some aspects, your brain as well is going to be activating, obviously. But in other words, he doesn't mean like your logical mind. He means activate the chakras that have to do with your psychic mind and connecting to your guides and things of this nature to really, really cultivate it here on earth this time. And then you can really advance in this area. I feel like this is in later lifetimes. This is really gonna get advanced. So he is wanting to talk to you more about self-cultivation. He talked a little bit about how you would reach others, or how you could reach others. I don't feel like that's a necessity, the books or book that he was referring to. That's something that you could do. as like a side thing. It's not a main thing. Okay. There's something about your mother. He wants to say something about your mother. Just hold on here a second. I gotta ground some of this energy. He's saying that your mother is peaceful. I don't know. I do not know what he's meaning by that. Feels like she's been through storms, but she's a strong person. I feel like some of this is DNA. I feel like you carry a kind of quietness and a kind of inner knowing. And a lot of this is your soul, but some of this is your DNA. And he's saying to look to the qualities that your parents have, some of which have passed to you. So look at the good things that have passed to you from the people that you came from, including other ancestors and people around you even. So there are things to cultivate. He wants you to cultivate. He wants you to write things down, like things that you notice about yourself and the way that you operate, and get a handle on you as a person and being the best person that you're able to be here in this lifetime. He wants you to examine yourself. He doesn't want you to examine other people except to see, what has come to you. He's saying that you can look at the negative things too. What negative things have come to me from other people? He wants you to look at this. He wants you to observe this. He's saying that as a child in particular, you can pick up on unnecessary behaviors. Again, it's coming in that some of the unnecessary behaviors he's talking about when you were a kid had to do with the father. Some unnecessary behaviors from the father. And I'm getting the word problematic. He's also saying the feminine side, that you've cultivated the feminine side, not as far as, these psychic abilities and things as much as he would like. and your other guides as well as they would like. But in the way of being quiet, in the way of being still, even in the way of being logical, even though that's a more masculine thing. But he's saying that if you can be quiet, then you can observe and you can be more logical. And so they really work hand in hand. But allowing things to come to you, this is a feminine energy that you developed in that lifetime. So even with that, he's kind of laughing because the psychic arena, your intuition, this is your feminine energy as well. So he's kind of having a laugh that you developed this other part of the feminine energy, but then you didn't incorporate the psychic abilities. He's saying that he was just laughing, and all of your guides were kind of laughing every time you were saying this hogwash stuff, however you were making fun of this on that lifetime. They were all just kind of standing around having a laugh anytime that you would say anything making fun of that stuff. And they would have loved actually to have kind of freaked you out a little bit. Like they would have loved for you to enter a haunted building or to just feel a presence near you and not brush it off. But I feel like you were so set on this that they couldn't have gotten through to you. Like you wouldn't have been able to feel it. You wouldn't have been able to feel a presence. So he's giving me the feeling like that this guy didn't even feel presences. Okay. He's giving me a name. It looks like Langdon. So I'm Googling here again. Wait, you know what's coming up? Langdon. Maybe this is Langdon because he specifically showed me I was gonna spell it D-E-N and he specifically showed me D-O-N, and so I put that in like L-I-N-G-D-O-N, but it's coming up L-A-N-G. So I'm gonna just see if I can see when this name originated from. Let me see here. It's coming in as a last name as well. This is an old name. Okay, it derived from the 7th century, it's saying. (1669). Okay, so this is definitely the right period. So this is a last name, actually. This isn't a first name, this is a last name. This energy is still pretty intense. Solomon, he's saying. Solomon. Well, this is an old name too. He's saying Solomon Langdon is what he's saying. He's saying that was your name in the lifetime. Solomon Langdon. For some reason, he thinks this was one of your best lifetimes. Like he loved this lifetime that you had. He feels like you really cultivated a lot of things in this lifetime. And he says you were sure of yourself, you were on your path, you did what you felt to do. He's saying that you were actually very intuitive. So there again, he's kind of having a laugh even at that. Because he's saying even though you didn't have like psychic abilities like clairaudience, like you're listening to voices, or clairvoyance and you're, seeing the future, or seeing things about other people's lives, or something like this, or a medium, like you're seeing spirits. He's saying maybe you couldn't feel presences around you, but still you had this gut instinct which is intuition. So in that case, he is saying that is a psychic ability. It's not these others. You didn't cultivate those others. But he's saying that this is one that everybody has, but he's saying that most people don't listen to it. And he's saying that it doesn't take time to cultivate this one, to just cultivate a gut instinct. He says everybody's born with that. All humans have it. If you come into a human body, you have it. But he's saying that you listened to it. So I feel like your guides are saying, bravo. I feel like you lived. God, they're giving very specific dates here. I feel like you lived to the 1800s, but he's specifically saying 1809. And he's giving me this feeling like you won the game. You fulfilled everything that you were supposed to do in the lifetime, even though it was simple. He's saying that you didn't have some specific mission in that lifetime except to cultivate a lot of certain things within yourself. And now they want you to cultivate more. So he's saying that you're on a journey of self-discovery. And he's saying that as you cultivate more and as you learn more, you're given more responsibility and you are more able to assist others. So he's saying like you have a higher role or you have a larger role, and what you do creates a larger ripple, a larger effect, and it affects more people. But and this is coming in with such a strong energy that even though this lifetime was very simple, that you did a good job, you did an excellent job. And he's saying that it's not always about some big thing, some big mission. Sometimes it's the simple things that cause ripples, and they do everybody a world of good. And for your soul in other lifetimes, the simplest lifetime can take away, he's saying, like hundreds of lifetimes, even he's saying, of karma. No, sorry, not lifetimes. So you're saying, he's not saying lifetimes, he's saying years. Okay. It can take back hundreds of years of karma. So karma going back to a much earlier lifetime, even old karma, the right lifetime, even if it's simple, even if it's a small thing that you just excel at and do with passion and a pure heart, and he's saying a clean heart, clean auric field, clean intentions, pure good intentions. When you live this kind of life and you're this kind of person, and not only toward others but towards yourself, like he's saying, like a lot of people are smoking and they're really harming their bodies, okay, or they have some bad habit, right? They have bad habits, like they are really harming themselves. Like maybe he's saying like they're in a pattern of bad relationships where they let someone abuse them and abuse them, but they're very nice to the person. So maybe they think, oh, they're creating good karma in that lifetime because they're always nice to other people. But he's saying, no, if you don't have this balance, of being good to others and being good to yourself, you just have more to learn, and you can create even more karma that way. If you're bad to yourself, he's saying you can create even more damage than being bad to another. Right, okay, because he's saying when you're bad to another, it's still their responsibility whether they take it into their auric field or they release it and they don't agree with what you're sending them. However, when you are doing something negative towards your own self, you immediately agree with it. You automatically agree with it because it's toward your own soul, your own self. So he's saying that this can cause even worse ripples, but for your own soul and your own lifetime. And he's saying other people as well, if they agree with you, if they agree with the person who sent them the negative influence, then yes, they can create negative karma and negative consequences. But he's saying that even then it's them doing it to themselves because they have to agree with it first. So he's saying that harming yourself can actually do even more damage than harming another soul. So he's saying that in this lifetime, you cultivated both. You were good to yourself and you were good to other people. Okay. So that's all this guide. That's all this guide wants to say. So he's thanking me for speaking for him. Okay, I gotta take another sip of water before I close this reading. Yeah, even though this didn't end up being a clearing, in some ways, I guess just because of which guide decided to come through, this still ended up in some ways feeling more intense than that reading would. What was I doing? Right. I'm thanking you. Okay. So thank you so much for allowing me to do this reading for you. The game, it's a strange code name to call you, but whatever. That's your name for the reading. So thank you so much for allowing me to do this reading for you. And I hope that this benefits you. And thank you. Namaste.